Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show. Xiaodong felt that he greatly underestimated Su Zian's talent. Before he watched Su Zian evolve, a set of evolution process was handy and proficient. According to experience, it is estimated that the quality of some parts of Su Zian's starship has reached excellent quality, and the overall quality of the starship should also be excellent. Don't think that good quality is bad. To know. Now in the entire universe, 99% of the biological captains and starships are of ordinary quality. At least 0.1% have reached the quality of excellent and above. And, as the starship level increases, the number of high-quality starships decreases. Because the higher the level of the starship, the degree of difficulty in evolution, and there are very few evolutionists who can evolve to that level. Relying on self-study, I evolved a spaceship, like a spaceship that was scavenged into a high-quality spaceship. Xiaodong felt that this was definitely a super genius. However, after Su Zian's explanation, and after he personally inspected the various parts of the brilliant at close range, he was stunned. Lived for so many years, he has never seen such a super monster like Su Zian. Yes. In his mind, Su Zian is no longer a peerless genius, but a super evildoer. Only this can express the shock and horror in his heart. He just calculated carefully. Read excellent quality components. The number is as high as 7. Keel, hyperdrive, main gun, anti-aircraft guns, detection radar, cockpit glass, anti-detection cloaking device. A full 7. Evolve from spaceship all the way. Only less than half a month. Evolve to the second level. What kind of concept is it to have 7 red parts of excellent quality and 3 blue parts of rare quality? That is because the captain's cab, living room, communicator and other components are holding back. Otherwise, relying on the 7 main components that achieve the excellent quality of red, the overall quality of the brilliant will definitely be excellent in red. Unfortunately, the captain's cab, living room, communicator, locking radar, star crystal optical brain, landing gear, balancer, etc., these things are too hip. Including the life support system, gravity support system, power generator, and even the materials used in the internal circuits of the brilliant are too bad, too bad. Xiaodonglio's scalp tingled and the corners of his mouth twitched when he saw more than 20 grays of inferior quality. Xiaodonglu even had an impulse. Break the rules of accepting apprentices that you set, and help Su Zian now. At least let Su Zian evolve the extremely stretched parts of his brilliant ship to the point where they are at least eye-catching. But after thinking about it, in the end, he decided to stick to his plan, backfired. In fact, it is not desirable. Only by allowing it to experience the wind and rain freely can it truly thrive. And he has to do it. It is to pass on what I have learned all my life to him, and to act as the umbrella that shields Su Zian from the wind and rain when he is really in despair. Su Zian didn't know what Xiaodong was thinking. It doesn't matter if he knows. The reason why he was pleasantly surprised by his apprentice Xiaodong. In fact, not much was because of Xiaodonglio's status. What's more, I can learn a lot of knowledge from him. System teaching is system teaching. But knowledge, who would want too much? Besides, Xiaodong was still his idol in the evolutionist field. As for what doesn't help, again, on their own. Relying on the money I earn, I spend more confidently. Zian, these 2 days. I'm afraid I'm leaving. Xiaodong said with some reluctance. The 2 master and apprentice, even if they have just known each other for a short time. But that kind of intimacy with a tacit understanding is not determined by the length of time at all. Some people can never become true friends after knowing each other for a lifetime. Some people, just talking in a few words is regarded as a lifelong confidant. Both master and apprentice are obsessed with evolution. In addition, all aspects of personality are very suitable. It was only a few hours, but a sense of reluctance was born. Su Zian's heart moved, and he said quickly, "Master, are those human traders here to attack you? If this is the case, why don't you wait for more fleets to escort you?" Seeing Su Zian's sincere words of concern, Mr. Xia chuckled, "It's not a problem. Those little brats can't jump up in front of me." This time it was mainly due to being caught off guard. "Now that you are ready, come one, die one." When he said the last sentence, old Xiao's words were already full of murderous intent. It is enough to see that Xia Lao was definitely a ruthless person who fought countless times back then. Su Zian nodded. Since the master has his own plans, he can't say any more. What's more, his strength is low, and he can't help the master. "But although I will lead this area this time, I will always pay attention to you." Elder Xia warned solemnly, "I hope you can continue to work hard, and you must not waste such a heaven-defying talent of yours. In addition, if you don't understand anything, please feel free to contact me, understand?" Su Zian nodded obediently, "Understood, master." "Haha, okay, I've accepted you as an apprentice today. Master invites you to a big meal." Elder Xia immediately smiled heartily, took Su Zian's hand affectionately, and walked out of the bright cabin with a small interior space. At this time, the repair plan for the 2 frigates had ended, and Mr. Xia took a look at it and didn't look anymore. Immediately, the group of people headed towards the most famous restaurant in the relay station. On the way, Xiao Lao also introduced these people to Su Zian. Some of these people are evolutionists, and the status is not low. For example, the middle-aged man who investigated the real situation of Su Zian before. He is the president of the Galaxy Evolutionists Association. What is this concept? As an evolutionist, his status is inherently lofty, the president of the entire Galaxy Evolutionist Association, this identity. It is enough to be called one of the top structures of the entire galaxy. But at this time, he was following Mr. Xia like a little follower. Whenever he talks to Su Zian, his attitude is extremely kind. From Xiao Lao's mouth, Su Zian also knew the relationship between President Song and Xiao Lao, old Xiao's former student. In this day and age, master and apprentice are master and apprentice, teachers and students are teachers and students. The former still continues the master-student relationship from ancient times to the present. Be a teacher for a day and be a father for life. The latter, it is the teacher-student relationship. Although the relationship is very close, it can also be called the relationship of being a teacher for one day and being a father for life. But after all, it is still not as good as the master and apprentice. Master and apprentice, it is even more strictly forbidden, although Mr. Xia has not accepted an apprentice for 3,000 years. There are actually only a few of his direct disciples. However, this does not mean that he has no students. Mr. Xia used to be a teacher in university and taught many evolutionist courses. It is not an exaggeration to say that peaches and plums are everywhere. President Song Yusong, president of the Earth Federation Galaxy Evolutionists Association, is one of them. I really want to talk about it. Su Zian is still Chairman Song's junior, although this is just President Song putting gold on his own face. But Su Zian will not point out this point foolishly, since Chairman Song called him junior brother. Of course, Su Zian let the flow take its course and also called him senior brother Song. As a human being, who can't be a little tactful? Little brother, I will send you an application form later, you fill it out. Song Yu said with a smile, this is the application form for the quasi-evolutionary of our evolutionary association. I will pass it directly to you. After passing it, some parts of the starship will be optimized and evolved in the future, and then you will be able to obtain the qualification for the assessment of a registered evolutionist. Speaking of this, Song Yu paused, seemed to think of something, and said, speaking of this, I have one thing to trouble you, little brother. One of my apprentices is usually busy, but he took over the business of evolving parts for starships. I'm worrying about being too busy. No, just ask for your help. Ah, by the way, don't worry, you will definitely not be asked to help in vain, but how much will be paid, you can discuss it yourself at that time. Su Zian took a deep look at Song Yu. I sigh in my heart. As expected of a person who can be the chairman of the Galaxy Evolution Association. This emotional intelligence is simple. Since he was only Xiao Lao's registered disciple, Song Yu began to invest in himself. And it can also please Xiao Lao. As for this matter, in terms of his status, it is not even a small effort. At a price that is hardly considered a price, he can gain both his own favor and a little favor from his teacher at the same time. TSK. Human spirit, old fox. As for what to say, please help yourself. All fools know that he said this on purpose, and it seems that making friends with himself is not so utilitarian. It's just changing the words, and the nature of the matter can be defined differently. How could Zian refuse such kindness? Perhaps, this is the first benefit of being under Mr. Xiao's name, right? Although Xiao Lao will not help himself unconditionally. However, the intangible benefits are also unimaginable. For example, Zian has no reason to refuse the gift from Song Yu. You know, other ordinary evolutionists want to apply to join the Evolutionists Association? Okay, yes. Heavy examination. By yourself, you only need to fill out an application, and the president of the Galactic Association will personally pass it. Obtain the qualifications of Registered Evolutionary Engineer examination? Okay. Figure it out yourself. And the truth is, ordinary quasi-evolutionists want to obtain the qualifications for the assessment of registered evolutionists. You have to spend your own money to give those starship captains, so that it is possible for the other party to agree. Under normal circumstances, even if you spend money, the captain of the biological starship will seldom agree with you, a person without any evolution experience, to evolve your own starship. Even if it's just the evolution of parts, it's impossible. This comparison. The gap is too big. This is the perfect interpretation of someone in the court who is good at being an official, right? Sure enough, after hearing the conversation between the two, Mr. Xia turned his head and smiled at Zian. Obviously, Mr. Xia would not mind this kind of help. Because of this kind of help, in the end, Zian's true strength is what matters. It is completely different from giving money, giving supplies, and so on. Except Song Yu. Zian added communication methods with many people. And their identities. It also made Zian's forehead burst into sweat. Originally, I was a little worried about Mr. Xiao's safety during the trip, but when I found out their true identities, well, he felt like he was just being silly. There are 3 of them, and they are the captains of the biological cruiser. Xiao Lao himself, and Song Yu. The starship level of the 2 of them is even more terrifying. Zian doesn't know what level Xiao Lao's starship is. Zian didn't ask. But Song Yu knew that it was Song Yu himself who said it. A battleship. 1 level higher than cruisers, reaching the 6th level of battleships. Zian also learned from them the real reason for the attack and injuries. First of all, because the traders of the human race also came to a battleship this time. Secondly, they knew the waterway information of Mr. Xia and his party in advance. The arrangement started early. All kinds of very high-end cloaking devices covered the starry sky area, and all the starships of the human traders were hidden, but they were not discovered by the starships of Xiao Lao and others. Secondly, a large amount of ammunition was pre-buried in that starry sky. The incident happened suddenly, even if Xiao Lao and the others reacted immediately and resisted 99% of the damage, the remaining 0.1 damage caused many starships to be damaged or even fall. As for why Mr. Xia and the others would take an interstellar caravan on a trip, what they were going to do, and where their destination was, Zian didn't know. They didn't say it. Zian didn't ask either. Without even thinking about it, it must be some confidential information. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. Zian still understands this matter. I have eaten. Zian quickly filled out the membership application form for the Evolutionists Association. Song Yu passed in seconds. Only in the blink of an eye. Zian's associate membership of the Evolutionary Association. which Zian had been thinking about for a long time, was solved so easily. Once again, I deeply feel that there is a backer behind me, which is really different. And everything that happened today made him feel like he was dreaming. The people I met today, all the big shots that I didn't dare to think about before, all showed him the most friendly smile today. Even, a little flattering. Really. Is always shining gold. People, as long as they work hard all the time. Then opportunity and success. Always inadvertently. Meet by chance. Mr. Xia and his party obviously have something very important to do. The original plan was to complete the repairs on the starship and leave directly. But after accepting Zian as a registered disciple, he deliberately stayed for one extra day. All day. Xiao Lao is teaching Zian all kinds of knowledge. And Zian also felt like he had found a treasure, and he was fascinated by it. What is interesting is, Zian has experienced 1 year of systematic teaching. Therefore, there are many theories that even Mr. Xiao would find novel. Then he would drag Zian for a chat, and finally Xiao Lao even gained a lot. To this end. Before leaving, Mr. Xiao's reluctant look made Zian feel funny in his heart. He can understand. Because he himself is extremely reluctant. For those who are obsessed with starships and starship evolution, this kind of discussion about starships made them sink the most. Anyway, Zian really learned a lot of knowledge. But that's okay. It will be different in the future. You can leave a message to Mr. Xia through the communication at any time. As long as Mr. Xia has time, he will reply as soon as possible. Old Xia, too busy. Watch that huge, shocking fleet leave. Zian couldn't calm down for a long time. Only then did he see Mr. Xiao's starship clearly. It was a starship with a length of more than 4,000 meters. Reached the 7th level. Beyond the battleship. Deep space ship. In the entire Earth Federation, the most powerful starship is only a star destroyer. The Star Destroyer is the 8th level of starship. And Mr. Xiao's starship has reached the 7th level. You know, Mr. Xia has participated in the war since he was young. He no longer focused on his own cultivation. He devoted himself wholeheartedly to the research of evolutionists. But even so, after a long period of time, it has reached the level of a deep space ship. It is even more conceivable that Mr. Xiao's status in the entire Earth Federation. No. Mr. Xiao's status in the field of evolutionists surpasses that of the Earth Federation and is famous throughout the Universe Federation. This is why the human traders dispatched battleships and arranged so many means to attack Mr. Xia, but obviously, the human traders far underestimated the power of Xiao Lao's starship. Those arrangements that could destroy ordinary deep space ships several times did not even break the defense of Xiao Lao's starship, can only say. It's not that the human traders were not fully prepared, it's that Mr. Xiao's starship was too powerful. Look away. Zian slowly adjusted his mentality. This opportunity is indeed very big, or it can be said to be a huge opportunity. However, I was determined not to be dazzled by the sudden pie. The power of Mr. Xia belongs to Mr. Xia. Own. Just a small second-level biological reconnaissance ship captain. This point must be made clear. The road ahead of me is still far, far away. Shake your head and don't think about it anymore. The last 2 steps of the brilliance. In other words, the stealth coating that had been left aside for a day or 2 was absorbed and fused. As well as the metals and materials used to upgrade the starship to the 2nd level, they were also absorbed by the brilliance one by one. This is a process of evolution, or optimization, of the brilliant. Wait until the last pile of composite material is fully absorbed and fused. Zian's body shook suddenly. The bottleneck that suppressed his realm was broken away. Since then, the Brilliant has reached Tier 2 scout ship. Zian's personal realm. He also broke through and became a 2nd-rank fighter. All in all, All happened in less than half a month. When fighting for special admissions exams, evolved the brilliant number to Tier 3. That time. Basically, Zian thinks that there is absolutely no chance for a special recruitment spot. Name, Zian. Realm, Warrior 2. Starship, Brilliance, Blue Rare. Bioenergy, 150. Evolution value, 13. Wealth value, 66. Zian expected well. It's really just the overall quality of blue rarity. No way. Those parts that are not particularly important are really too hip. Zian already knew the plan to evolve to the 3rd level. The 3rd level, while improving the quality of all parts to excellent. The 3 parts, Energy Shield, Hull Armor, and Core Armor, are the next core evolution modules. If there is no money, then blue rare quality. Rich, then red excellent quality. Higher quality. Zian didn't think about it. In the systematic evolutionary simulation, none of them have been deduced to exceed the excellent quality of red. Of course, that's because the highest quality of simulation teaching for the most junior 1st grade evolutionist is only red excellence. Only when the simulation teaching of the 2nd rank and 3rd rank evolutionists behind the system is turned on, will there be higher quality simulation teaching. The starship has evolved. Zian, ready to start the next action. What he planned was the 1.5 months before the special recruitment exam. Try to get more evolution points. Otherwise, if the starship parts are evolved on a large scale, the evolution value may really not be enough. And want to get more evolutionary value. Undoubtedly, only to pick up those high-risk tasks. Just when Zian was about to open the website of the Star Hunters Guild. A friend request, sent a few hours ago. The time just happened to be when Xiao Lao and the others left. Click to open it, and it is immediately clear. Chen Shanchuan applied to add your communication friend. Application, is it the little uncle? I am your nephew. Seeing this, Zian touched his nose. It seems that after worshipping Mr. Xia as a teacher, my seniority in the circle of evolutionists seems to be quite high. Pass immediately. Chen Shanchuan immediately sent a message. Chen Shanchuan, hello, little uncle. I am your nephew Chen Shanchuan. Chen Shanchuan, master said that you can help my nephew by upgrading a parts business I took over, right? That's great. Chen Shanchuan, thank you little uncle, I am really too busy. Chen Shanchuan, well, little uncle, when you have time, I will bring this client to you. You are on the home planet of the solar system, right? Parent star. It is the name of the Earth Federation humans for the Earth. At least half of the humans in the Earth Federation originated from the mother planet Earth. And looking at the other party's message, Zian couldn't laugh or cry. This pair of actors, master and apprentice, learn how to act. Talking about it is too busy. The result was good. He took the initiative to send customers to the Earth? What a mess. Zian knew the opponent's location. In the main star system of the current Milky Way. It is tens of thousands of light years away from the solar system. Time to come. Can you give a small low-level reconnaissance ship time to evolve? All right. Zian accepted this sentiment. Reply immediately. Zian, thank you. So 1 month later? Because 1 month later, Zian felt that he should have earned a lot of evolution points. Chen Shanchuan, no problem. 1 month later today, on time. The little uncle is busy, so the nephew will not bother you, haha. Zian, thank you. Chen Shanchuan, you are too polite, little uncle. In the future, you can just greet me if you have something to do, and my nephew will do it for you, going up the mountain of swords and going down into the sea of fire. Facing this pair of fine masters and apprentices, Zian said a few polite words with a smile, and then closed the communication chat between the two. Opened the Star Hunter Guild website. At this time, my own information has become a 1-star hunter because I completed a task. The Interstellar Hunters Guild has an internal hunter level rating standard. The higher the level of the hunter, the more high-paying tasks he can accept. The only way to increase the level is to complete a large number of tasks to obtain hunter points. Once the task fails, a lot of hunter points will be deducted, resulting in a decrease in level and completion percentage. Now Zian is a 1-star hunter, 100% completion rate. To upgrade to a 2-star hunter, you need to complete 99 1-star missions and 1 mission with 2-star difficulty. However, Zian is now a 1-star hunter, but he can also accept missions up to 3 stars. Completing even one of the 3-star missions can directly promote him to 2-star, and the reward is very high. For high-risk tasks, definitely choose the 1-star difficulty. For example, follow the Federal fleet to suppress bandits. Although the risk is high, there is no need to worry about being used as cannon fodder by the Federation fleet. Teaming up with other teams is very likely to be used as cannon fodder. The difference is that with other high-risk tasks, the reward will be much less. The pay is small, and there is ultimately too much. There are pirates to kill, and there is evolution value, which is the key point. Picked a lot. A Federal fleet closest to the relay station was selected. This Federal fleet is a fleet led by biological frigates. The fleet belonging to the Federation has a total of 7 ships including frigates, 2 biological starships, and 5 mechanical starships. The daily salary is 800 yuan, which is less than working as a security guard in a mine. But as a guard in the mine, there may not be any interstellar pirates to kill. In the Federation fleet, it is aimed at interstellar pirates. Hunt down the interstellar pirates everywhere. Get it directly. In addition, there is another benefit of auxiliary Federal fleet. A salary of 800 yuan a day is not high. But all the fuel and ammunition will be borne by the Federation for you, so it's over. But starship damage in battle, that's your business. Task received, according to the task guide. Let Zian arrive at a nearby interstellar coordinate point the day after tomorrow. Zian will not waste the remaining 2 days. The current wealth value is enough, and the biological energy has been continuously improved, so there is no need to increase it now. Breaking through to the 3rd rank warrior's bioenergy peak is 60 points on the basis of 150 points, which is 210 points. The current wealth value is enough, but it is not necessary. Zian believes that using wealth points to increase one's Star Wars skills is the most important thing. 2 days in a row. Of the 66 wealth points, Zian spent a full 30 points on a Star Wars simulation. We will soon follow the Federation fleet to hunt down interstellar pirates. If you can add some Star Wars skills, add some. And 3 times in a row means 3 consecutive years in the system. 3 consecutive years of fighting. Zian almost had a nervous breakdown. Fortunately, he has now broken through to the level of a 2nd-grade warrior, and his mental strength is much stronger than before, otherwise he would not be able to withstand such an intense Star Wars battle. In addition, the Star Wars battlefield simulated by the system this time is also different from the first time. Perhaps due to the improvement of Zian's Star Wars strength, these 3 Star Wars simulations were all assigned different difficulties. The 2nd time was a little harder than the first. The 3rd time was a little more difficult than the 2nd time. The 4th time is hard. I don't know how many times I died before I finally cleared the 4th Star Wars simulation. The 4th simulated Star Wars battlefield is much larger. Even Zian's targets are basically high-level reconnaissance ships and even low-level frigates. Even though the system perfectly replicated the performance of the Brilliance, the level difference was too big. The last 3 days of the 3rd year, Zian relied on his familiarity with the battlefield environment to blow up the low-level frigate of the insect race. Although the Brilliant number is almost riddled with holes. But after all, he defeated the opponent once. On the last day, when the situation of the Brilliant was slightly better, the opponent was defeated. Fortunately, the simulated starship is a bug-human starship. If it were an inhuman starship with thick skin and fierce attack power. Unless Zian is given another year, he will only be beaten by the opponent again and again. Fortunately, The 3 years of system time were finally over. Zian fell asleep like crazy, almost waking up at the critical moment when he was about to be late. There was no time to wash up and eat. He hurriedly took an unmanned space shuttle and rushed towards the parking cabin. Let's take care of things like washing up, eating, etc. on board the Tsuetson. He maneuvered the Brilliance out of the entrance and exit smoothly, locked the position, and immediately started the pulse jump. At the same time, on a small, desolate planet with relatively low gravity, a fleet is parked here waiting. These fleets, even the biological starships, are all standard models of the Federation, not to mention the mechanical starships, which are all standard starships, the so-called standard biological starship. It is a systematic evolutionary system. From the moment the first starship was bound, it was exactly the same. The starships have the same style and quality. After binding, there will be no difference in the evolution plan. But similarly, the quality of the starships evolved in this way is not much higher. The biological starships of the Earth Federation Army are all uniformly green and of high quality. Not bad, but definitely not great either. Of course, there are also some biological captains of the Federation Army who spend their own money to evolve starships, and this is also allowed. A more powerful captain would choose this way, but a reconnaissance captain or biological captain would definitely not choose this way. Here, except for the Federal Army, there are also 5 assorted biological starships. They are all interstellar hunters who took on this mission like Zian this time, in the open space in front of the fleet. A burly man wearing medium-sized space armor raised his hand from time to time to look at the time displayed on the optical brain, and then looked around, his expression filled with impatience. Captain Zhang, how about we leave first? I'm afraid that person won't come. Yeah, I don't even have a sense of time. I don't want to act with this person, it's unreliable. Come on, let's go, my starship is already thirsty. Those who spoke were the 5 hired captains of civilian creatures. The burly man known as Captain Zhang frowned, and although he was impatient, he still said in a deep voice, "Please wait a moment. There is 1 minute left before the final time of the assembly. If he doesn't come in 1 minute, we will, huh?" The words are not finished yet. His eyes suddenly froze, and he immediately looked in a certain direction. That's the sound of an object breaking through the atmosphere at high speed. Theoretically, every planet will produce gas and have an atmosphere. Of course, this is only theoretical. In fact, there are still many planets without atmospheres, such as the Moon. Because the Moon's own gravity is too small, it cannot absorb a large number of gas molecules on the surface of the Moon, so it cannot produce an atmosphere. However, the Moon of this era has an atmosphere, which is the result of the artificial atmosphere and gravity maintenance system. Planets with atmospheres only differ in the difference, thinness, and thickness of the gas. For example, the atmosphere of this planet contains very little oxygen and is mainly composed of nitrogen, which accounts for 99%. The atmosphere composed of 99% nitrogen will cause huge friction when the starship breaks through the atmosphere and enters the planet, and the natural sound will be loud. The Brilliance had just entered the atmosphere when a huge sound of breaking through the air was heard. They all looked up and looked in the direction of the sound. Just a blink of an eye. Then a black shadow as fast as lightning could be seen flashing past, so fast that it even left sections of phantoms behind it. When it was about to approach the surface of the planet, it suddenly slowed down again, from a speed of over 1,000 meters per second to a speed of 1 or 2 meters per second, and finally stopped steadily in an empty space next to the fleet. Such a familiar manipulation method made many people look solemn. And when I saw that this starship had no trace of its previous evolution, no one dared to underestimate this starship. Even Captain Zhang showed a hint of surprise in his eyes. He looked at Zian's personal information displayed on the Huawei brand military optical computer watch, and his expression couldn't help but look a little weird. First-order biological reconnaissance ship. So this starship called Brilliance evolved from a spaceship? Captain Zhang was a little helpless. He seriously doubted the combat effectiveness of this brilliant ship. But the mission has been accepted, and he has no reason to drive them away. There is no other way but to fight the interstellar pirates. Let him attack from the outside, not from the front line. He really doesn't know. Where does the Zian get the courage? The First Order biological reconnaissance ship dares to take on such a mission. Langtauking? Are newborn calves afraid of tigers? At first, he thought that Zian was a child of a powerful family, driving some kind of rising star or future star on missions. The result is this? The Brilliance is parked. The hatch opened, and a young man wearing a tattered ultralight space armor walked out. Judging from the tattered appearance of his armor, one even wonders if it is leaking. Judging from the glass visor of the helmet, this man is quite young, but quite handsome. But handsome, can you make those pirates show mercy to you? Captain Zhang sighed. Sorry, some things were delayed. Fortunately, we arrived at the last time. As soon as Zian came over, he immediately started apologizing. Those biological captains, who didn't know the specific strength of the Zian starship, all showed kind smiles. It's okay, you're not late either. Yes, from now on, we will be comrades in arms on the same front, so don't be so polite. Why don't you rest and let's go again? They are called a good talker. It was completely opposite to Zian's attitude before his arrival. It's just that there is doubt in the eyes. Why is this captain, who looks like a master, wearing such a dilapidated space armor? Could it be the maverick of a master? Captain Zhang didn't say much, but said in a deep voice with no expression on his face, "Since everyone is here, let me speak." Everyone stood up one after another, and Zian also went to stand beside the group of foreign captains, and the chubby captain next to him smiled kindly at Zian. Captain Zhang continued, "We are the Federation Army of the Earth Federation's Red Moon Star region, Milky Way Galaxy, and Flying Fish Star System. Accept the mission this time, and go to clear up the interstellar pirates within 7.5 light-years outside the Flying Fish Star System. And we are the Osprey Squad of the 9th Battalion and the 5th Squadron of the Flying Fish Solar System Federation Army. My name is Zhang Qingji, and I am the captain of the Osprey team. This is Lu Yun, the vice-captain of our team. Lu Yun is the captain of the only biological reconnaissance ship in the Osprey team. It is a mid-level biological reconnaissance ship. I don't know the exact level, but I only know that it is a mid-level biological reconnaissance ship. At the same time, she is the only female in the Osprey team. Her appearance is relatively ordinary, and her face is a fortitude type that is rare for girls. The kind with a very strong body and short hair. At first glance, people who don't know it think it's a man. Captain Zhang introduced the remaining team members. A total of 15 people. Because they are all mechanical reconnaissance ships, and the best operators of mechanical reconnaissance ships are a captain and 2 crew members. 5 mechanical scout ships, that's 15 people. The personnel are introduced. The next step is to assign tasks. In my squad, there is only one rule: follow orders unconditionally. Since you have accepted this task, I hope that you will not disobey the order then. It's enough to kill yourself, but also kill our teammates. After Captain Zhang finished speaking seriously, he began to deploy. Wu Jing, the captain of the 7th Order biological reconnaissance ship. Your level is the highest. When the time comes, you will follow me as the capital ship of the attack. The man named Wu Jing was a tall, thin, indifferent middle-aged man, and he was the only one who didn't say hello after Zian arrived. His arrogance is understandable. After all, everyone is an intermediate or even a low-level scout ship. He is the only captain of a high-level reconnaissance ship, the second expert of the team, and indeed he has the capital of his arrogance. After some arrangements, it was finally Zian's turn. Captain Zhang looked at Zian, and said calmly, Zian, the captain of the First Order biological reconnaissance ship, your strength is the lowest among us here. If you fight, you can harass and attack in the back row, and try to avoid confrontation with the enemy. Accompanied by Captain Zhang's words. Everyone looked at Zian in unison. His eyes were full of astonishment. 1. The captain of the Tier 1 biological reconnaissance ship? Everyone was astonished. Suddenly realized what happened. Zian, the starship. I'm afraid it evolved from a spaceship, right? No wonder he was wearing such a tattered spacesuit. Then everything can be explained. No, you, the captain of a Tier 1 biological reconnaissance ship, came here to join in the fun. No matter how bad they are still intermediate biological reconnaissance ships. Even the 5 mechanical reconnaissance ships of the Osprey team are mid-level. Impressed, the chubby captain beside Zian froze with a smile on his face. He stared at Zian in astonishment for a while, but finally said nothing, turned his head away and stopped talking to Zian. The era of space and interstellar voyages in which strength is the most important thing and starships are the most important thing. It's just so realistic. Zian didn't care either. First-order biological reconnaissance ship. That's because he didn't update his information. What's more, the gap between the first level and the second level is not very big, and it has no direct impact on receiving tasks. As for Captain Zhang's arrangement, Zian did not have any objections. To be honest, it is indeed a little risky for him to hunt down interstellar pirates with his strength, and it is best to be safe now. When the fight starts, I will find a chance to start doing it myself, and it will not affect anything. Arrangement is complete. Captain Zhang waved his hand, everyone board the ship. According to Federal intelligence, the ultra-small interstellar pirate gang, the Black Crow Gang, carried out a robbery at the interstellar coordinate point 3 days ago. Our first goal is to completely sink this Black Duck interstellar pirate team. Yes. Everyone answered in unison. Then they all ran towards their starships. Zian also boarded his Splendor. The whole process. No one spoke a word to him again. As if the initial enthusiasm was just an illusion. Zian doesn't care about this kind of thing, he only needs evolution value. Evolution value. Evolution value. Then kill the parts behind the enemy. Speaking of which, whoever kills the parts of the enemy's starship counts. Therefore, in Zian's eyes, the only option is to kill pirates. Boom. Starship engines started up one after another, led by Zhang Qingji's Osprey biological reconnaissance ship, Wu Jing and Deputy Captain Liu Yun's Changyun as assistants. A total of 13 starships pierced into the sky mighty, and the tail of the engine was like a tail of the engine energy evaporated fog to draw 13 white sailing clouds. At the same time, Zhang Qingji connected the communications of their 6 external starships, and marked the route and target location on the star map. Break through the thick atmosphere of this unknown planet and rush into space. One after another starships turned their directions, locked onto the course, and entered the pulse transition stage one by one. This place is 1.78 light-years away from the target. Zian needs a full-distance pulse transition and a short-distance pulse transition, a total of 2 times to arrive. In this evolution, the pulse engine has no additional evolution quality, however, after the overall deep optimization, the distance has increased slightly. From the original full distance of 1.2 light-years, it has increased to 1.3 light-years. In fact, it is very scary to increase the distance of 0.1 light-years just by deep optimization. And this is the high foundation brought by the blue rare quality itself. Only one deep optimization has increased the distance by 0.1 light-years, which is very powerful. At the same time, the jump distance increased, but the jump time was shortened by about 1 minute. Now a full distance jump can be reached in only about 29 minutes. Talk is better than nothing. The pulse transition begins. The Brilliant is entering an automatic transition. Zian took the opportunity to warm up a meal for himself. On the way to jump, Zian tidied up his personal hygiene and took a shower. Now eat and go to the toilet, the schedule is full. What Zian bought was the most common self-heating food. The self-heating food of today's era is naturally different from the self-heating food of the 21st century Earth. For example, The self-heating braised mutton rice bowl with a net weight of 850 grams in Zian's hand only needs to press a one-time button on the packaging box. The self-heating rice can return to normal from the state of instant heat and freshness in a second. That is, it is just freshly fried and served out of the pot. This is the ultra-high convenience brought by ultra-high technology. The food has just been cooked, and it is directly locked with the instant heat lock and freshness lock technology. The energy plate installed in the packaging box is enough to keep it in this state for a full 500 years. This is still the lowest-end food for civilian use, if it is for military use, or high-end civilian food. The longer the time, of course the materials and taste will be better. But Zian is not bad at eating. Anyway, he thinks the taste is okay and he can eat it. After a few bites, I'm full. He ran to the small living room again, opened the folding toilet and squatted down for a while, and after replying to Qin Fuyue with a few communication messages, Shiran walked to the captain's cab. Speaking of Qin Fuyue, she has already left Haitang. Since yesterday, I have been asking if there is any mission that I can take her with. Or the two simply form a hunter team. Zian is the captain and she is the vice captain. Then the two of them dominated the galaxy and lived invincible. Zian pretended not to see it. I thought that second-degree disease was only found in boys. The ghost knows that Qin Fuyue, who is so charming, also suffers from the second type of illness. Goddamn dominates the galaxy, immortal and invincible. Rely on their two low-level scout ships? The reason why Zian never agreed to bring Qin Fuyue along was also very simple. Take her? She drove a future star to hunt pirates. Those pirates are fools, and they will focus on her first. At that time, will Zian be saved or not? A woman, it will only affect my Captain Su. Ah bah, my Zian ship speed. Thoughts are spinning. The second jump is also over. Came to a very strange starry sky. In this starry sky, there are many meteorite belts and asteroid belts. In the extreme distance, there is another star that should be a super red giant star illuminating this side from the star map. Zian immediately became serious and concentrated all his energy. In this strange interstellar region with many meteorite belts and many asteroid belts, the ghost knows what danger is hidden, and the ghost knows where the Black Crow gang is hiding. A fatal blow may appear at any time, so he should be fully focused. In the communicator. Everyone, be careful. Interstellar pirates are known for being cunning and fierce. Try to stay away from those meteorite belts and asteroid belts, so as not to touch the activation devices of some bombs. Zhang Qingji's voice came clearly. Needless to say, after replacing a brand new communicator, the effect is much better. Although it only cost a little over 1,000 yuan, it was still better than the one I had dismantled from a junkyard spaceship. Everyone is not a novice, even Zhang Qingji knows what to do without reminding him. Zhang Qingji obviously understood this, but after saying this, he was silent for a moment, and then said, "Brilliant. Come fly to the middle of the fleet. I don't want you to be attacked by pirates later." Zhang Qingji was speechless, but as an Earth Federation army member, he would still abide by his responsibilities and mission. Seeing the weakest Zian in a more dangerous position, he still couldn't do it. Zian doesn't talk nonsense, just do whatever Zhang Qingji says. He drove the Brilliance to the middle of the fleet and flew slowly. Seeing Zian being so obedient, Zhang Qingji felt a little better. I'm afraid of the kind who are weak and arrogant and disobedient. If you hurt yourself, you will hurt others. The communicator went silent, everyone was alert to the surroundings, and the fleet moved silently. In the cockpit of the Brilliance, Zian is always paying attention to the real-time information returned by the detection radar. After this evolution, the detection radar has reached red excellence quality. He is confident that the detection rate of the Brilliance's detection radar is even stronger than that of Zhang Qingji's frigate. Although Zhang Qingji's is a frigate's detection radar, it is of a higher level. But the level is high, only the detection range is determined. The quality determines the detection rate. Unless it is of a much higher level, the detection rate of Zhang Qingji's detection radar cannot be as good as that of the Brilliance. The so-called detection rate is the detection success rate. If a stealth device is installed on an enemy starship and a stealth coating is sprayed on the hull, its stealth efficiency will be determined by the quality of the opponent's device and coating. If the stealth efficiency is high, the probability of being scanned by detection radar is low. With a red detection radar of excellent quality, Zian is confident that as long as the enemy's starship appears within the detection range of the Brilliance detection radar, as long as the enemy's level is not particularly high, it will basically be discovered by the Brilliant in the first place. Report. Found metal debris in the meteorite belt ahead. Suddenly, the report from Lu Yun on the communicator made everyone feel solemn, and they quickly looked in the direction indicated. As expected, it can be seen that in the meteorite belt, there are some metal fragments floating, which look like spaceships or starships. In short, they are products produced by industry, not things naturally formed by the universe. This should be the area where they fought 3 days ago. This is the wreckage of a spaceship that was sunk by pirates. Zhang Qingji's voice came soon after, with a firm tone. I can confirm that the information is correct. The Black Crow has indeed appeared here. Everyone, please be careful. Yes. Okay. Everyone answered in unison. But the fact is that for the next 4 days, I browsed almost everywhere in the area, but no trace of the Black Crow interstellar pirate gang was found. But everyone is used to this situation. Universe. How large and how vast? The universe is an all-round three-dimensional space. You can hide in front, back, left, right, above your head, or under your feet. In addition, the universe is really too big, and the unit of measurement is in cosmic units. Even though the starry sky seems small. In fact, it's so big that it's scary and terrifying. It is not so easy to find a pirate gang with only a dozen starships in this area. Sometimes it is common to pursue for months, years, or more than 10 years. Zian certainly won't wait that long. 3 more days. A total of 7 days. If there is no trace of the enemy within 7 days, you will voluntarily apply to withdraw from this mission, then go to the next task. He doesn't have that much time to spend. Fortunately. Maybe God heard his call. Just when this idea fell, suddenly, the detection radar suddenly issued a large number of warnings, and immediately on the star map, the detection radar scanned and marked out the information of a total of 17 starships. And they are hiding in a dense meteorite belt in front right. Zian focused his eyes, and without hesitation pressed the communicator Deshenhui to report, "Be careful, there are 17 suspected pirate targets on the front right." There was a silence in the communicator. No one replied to Zian immediately. Apparently, Zian subconsciously looked towards the detection screen of his detection radar at the first moment when Zian issued the warning. But none of them saw a single hair. In Wu Jing's account, Wu Jing's angry voice came in vain. "What's wrong with you? What nonsense? Where are the traces of interstellar pirates? If you are not strong enough, you will follow. No one will say anything about you, but you are now reporting false information indiscriminately." However, before his voice fell, the roar from Zhang Qingji resounded in the cockpit of every starship. Enemy attack. The roar was as loud as thunder, and it immediately interrupted Wu Jing's words behind him. Wu Jing, who was still teaching Zian a lesson, trembled all over with fright. This time he stopped looking at his detection radar, and hastily raised his head to look in the direction Zian said. Suddenly, the body trembled. See. More than a dozen shells from the main gun and dozens of shells from the secondary gun shot towards them at high speed, so fast that they didn't even have time to dodge, so they had to rely on the shield of the ship to resist. Fortunately, everyone has been fighting with interstellar pirates all year round, and the defense of starships is the most fancy. Even if all the attacks in this round are solid, there won't be too many problems. In contrast, Zian. As soon as the enemy was discovered, he began to operate quickly. While operating, report to the fleet. He was well prepared, and faced the first round of sneak attacks without any pressure. In addition, the enemy did not use the locking radar to lock them or launch missiles in order to prevent being discovered, so these attacks can be easily avoided. Of course, even if the incident happened suddenly, Zian has spent a total of 4 years fighting in the Star Wars simulation. This level of sneak attack will not affect him at all. But others suffer. There was no time to think about why Zian, who was the weakest in their eyes, was able to spot the enemy before them, and was only concerned with avoiding and defending. For a while. Rumbling explosions. The shield swings when the shock wave hits the starship's shield. And the light from the explosion make this slightly dark space. It stands out brilliantly. Interstellar wars always come out of nowhere. This starry sky is the territory of the Black Crow interstellar pirates. A large number of ultra-small detection devices are installed. I'm afraid they were detected when they came over a few days ago. Then it has been hidden in this meteorite belt. This meteorite belt must have been equipped with a stealth device, so that none of the dozen or so starships of the Black Crow interstellar pirates were discovered. If it wasn't for the fact that Zian's Brilliant was equipped with a red detection radar of excellent quality, it would have suffered a big loss this time. Although Zian reminded the people in the rear fleet to still maintain a skeptical attitude. But in the end, there is a little more vigilance. Especially the direction pointed out by Zian is a little more vigilant. This. It is enough, at least there is no starship loss in the sneak attack. Counterattack. Spread out the positions to avoid being affected. At the same time, pay attention to avoiding, and be careful not to be set on fire. In addition, divide into 3 teams. I will lead the team to attract a lot of firepower from the front. Changyun and Wu Jing, each of you will lead a team to outflank it from the left and right sides. We are in an open area, and they are in the meteorite belt. There are meteorites that can serve as shields. If we don't rush over, we will definitely die. Give it to me. Zhang Qingji's roar was loud and hasty, but his thinking was very calm and organized. Hearing his order, everyone immediately had a plan, and they were no longer as flustered and messy as when they were attacked just now. Zhang Qingji took the lead and rushed up with the people. Wu Jing and Lu Yun also chose their own teammates and outflanked them from the side. Wu Jing did not choose Zian. He looked down on Zian and was afraid of dragging his feet. Even at this moment, they still didn't understand why Zian was able to find the enemy's traces before they did. But perhaps Zian observed it with the naked eye through a scope. It must be so. Zhang Qingji did not choose Zian to join his frontal assault team, because Zian was of the lowest rank and the most dangerous frontal. Wu Jing simply didn't like it. It is impossible for Lu Yun not to choose. In addition to Zian, there was also the fat biological captain, and a mechanical starship of the Osprey team. A total of 4 starships are used as the outflanking team on the right. Brilliant, take care of yourself. Before leaving, Lu Yun actually gave Zian an extra word of advice, with a hint of concern in his tone. Now, after all, they are comrades in arms. As for the soldiers, the most important thing is to pay attention to the friendship of comrades in arms. What's more, Zian's reminder just now did bring a little buffer to the Osprey team. New. Zian was still the same, with very few words, but very straightforward. Follow me, move forward at the maximum speed, I will adapt to your speed. Lu Yun immediately commanded the departure, and at the same time ordered in the communicator. The 4 starships began to advance at the fastest speed of the engine. There is no doubt that Lu Yun's starship is the fastest. Zian initially estimates that her starship must be around Tier 6, and she is only 1 step away from a Tier 7 reconnaissance ship. But what surprised Lu Yun, that fat captain, and the Federation soldiers on that mechanical starship was the Brilliant No, which is the least likely to keep up with Lu Yun, is closely following behind the Changyun No. Its speed is almost as fast as Lu Yun. Lu Yun was stunned. The fat captain was stunned. The 3 federal soldiers were also stunned. The expression was extremely astonished. And Lu Yun seemed to think of something, and quickly turned on the detection radar. But this time, the main goal is to detect the candy. Result: Lu Yun was dumbfounded. On her detection radar, only Fatty's starship, and that mechanical starship. The brilliant, not even a shadow. It's directly blank. What does this prove? This proves, as if, maybe, they had far underestimated the true strength of the brilliance. Either it's the brilliant number that's really first level, but the quality of its evolution is particularly awesome. Either the Tsuetson number is actually at a very high level, but it has never gone to the Federation to update the information. Other than that, there is no other possibility. This. Just when Lu Yun was about to say something, a few shells hit them. At this time it was a state of war, and there was no time to think about the brilliant issue. Lu Yun's hoarse voice shouted, "Get ready to engage the enemy. All are free to attack." Finished shouting. She can't care about anything else. He directly manipulated the Chongyun and launched a counterattack. At this time, their right team had reached the edge of the meteorite belt. As long as you go deeper, you can fight the pirates head-on inside the meteorite belt. It doesn't matter if the pirates are more familiar with this place, at least it's better than fighting them outside. As long as you fight head-on, there is nothing to be afraid of when both sides have cover. Zian. At this moment, it has also entered a real fighting state. Now that Lu Yun gave the order to attack freely, the warlike blood in Zian's body was instantly activated. Turn on the engine power to the maximum, like a wandering elf in the barrage of bullets, dodging the shells elegantly and limitlessly while flying. In 4 years of war with the insects and inhumans, Zian had long developed the ability to dodge to the extreme. Not to mention that he was hit by thousands of artillery shells, and not even a single bullet hit him. That would be a bit bragging. But Zian could only manage to get hit by 2 or 3 out of 100 rounds, or even miss one. Anti-aircraft guns are also completely different in his hands. The anti-aircraft guns of other starships fired wildly to intercept them. Zian's anti-aircraft gun is an ultra-precise interception. Whenever there is a shell that cannot be avoided, or it is locked by a missile, only then will several light bullets from the anti-aircraft cannon be accurately fired, blasting them into the air. While dodging, Zian will not be idle. The main gun and the secondary gun were fired at extremely tricky angles. Even if the enemy is hiding behind dense meteorites, Zian can always find a gap to attack and hit the opponent. Although it is no longer the key point, it is also very good for the main gun to damage the unimportant parts of the opponent's starship. No matter how bad it is to consume the opponent's energy shield, it is also very good. On the battlefield, suddenly formed an extremely sharp contrast. Behind them, Lu Yun and his 3 mid-level scout ships were struggling to move forward amidst constant beatings. In contrast, the junior scout ship Candy, dodging left and right. I don't know how to dodge a large number of shell attacks in a weird way. The most important thing is that he can counterattack, and he doesn't have many counterattacks, but he can hit the enemy 7 times out of 10. This is already an extremely terrifying hit rate. This picture, as weird as it could be, not only did they stare blankly at Lu Yun and the others, even those pirates all looked dull. This starship. What the hell is it? What the hell is this? In the back, in the Chongyun, which was struggling to avoid and defend against shells and missiles, Lu Yun grasped her short hair without looking, her eyes widened and she screamed like a pig. She is a federal soldier who fights interstellar pirates all year round. Only then can we better understand how outrageous the battle behavior of the brilliant number was. First of all, the brilliance had to be powerful enough, otherwise the hull strength, engine power, and agility would not be enough to support such a dodge. Secondly, the Captain Zian has super talent and strength in Star Wars. Perhaps this kind of combat behavior can be done by a powerful captain who has experienced hundreds of battles on the border, but Don't forget that Zian's Brilliant is a first-order reconnaissance ship. Okay, even if it's not the first level, it's still just a scout ship. How much combat experience do you expect from a reconnaissance ship? Could it be that he is bound twice? Right. It must be so. Lu Yun and the others immediately confirmed this guess. Guess not guessing, talk about it later. We are currently fighting a war and have no time to think about anything else. With the Brilliance charging ahead, it basically attracted at least 50% of the firepower for them. Their pressure suddenly decreased, and they began to increase their horsepower, charging closely behind the Brilliance. Ahead, Zian was concentrating on driving the Brilliance, moving forward leisurely amidst the hail of bullets. Compared to the intensity in the Star Wars simulation, there is too much difference here. In Humans and Buggers in Star Wars simulation, every one of them is truly experienced in many battles. And their starships are very powerful, and their comprehensive combat capabilities far exceed those of these interstellar pirates. Suddenly, a low-level enemy biological reconnaissance ship revealed a gap. Zian knew that the opportunity to truly break through the defense had come. Without hesitation, in almost a few tenths of a second, he instantly changed the attack angles of the main and secondary guns, and aimed directly with combat instinct. Whoosh! The warhead of a pulse-penetrating bullet penetrated the opponent's energy shield with almost no obstruction, and then penetrated the opponent's cab. Before the energy shield had time to make up for this penetration point, several high-explosive bombs from the secondary guns followed closely behind, and exploded in the opponent's cockpit. The cab was instantly filled with high-explosive blasting power and countless shrapnel in the warheads. This biological captain died instantly. Even if he was wearing super-heavy space armor, any armor would be useless against several high-explosive warheads of this caliber. It might not be able to penetrate his armor, but the shockwave would be enough to turn him into a pulp inside the armor. A low-level warrior. It is impossible to have too high physical defense capabilities. After killing the starship in the blink of an eye, a huge gap appeared in the sky. Zian immediately controlled the Brilliance to follow the gap, and finally rushed into the meteorite belt before the enemy had time to react. Once you enter the meteorite belt, you truly have the capital to mediate with the other party. The opponent can hide behind the meteorite, and so can oneself. The Brilliance rushed into the meteorite belt, startling the enemies, and turned their guns to attack Zian. The pressure on the Chongyun and other 3 starships dropped sharply again. Taking this opportunity, they all rushed into the meteorite belt regardless of the consumption of their shields. Report, the right raid is completed, the right team has successfully entered the meteorite belt, and will fight the opponent face to face. Lu Yun then let out a relieved report. She was indeed relieved. There is a limit to the energy shield's resistance. If it were just a little longer. I'm afraid the energy shield will be shattered, and it will take at least an hour to recover, which is equivalent to losing the shield. Relying purely on the armor and strength of the hull to fight against the opponent suffers a big loss. Because in this case, any random attack by the opponent may cause major damage to the starship. Luckily, the candy attracted most of the firepower and broke into the meteorite belt. Where did the radiance come from? Behind, in the cockpit of Fatty's starship, Fatty swallowed. Suddenly he gave a wry smile. He still looks down on others? Thinking about it now, I feel like a clown. This is not the time to think about these things. Take a deep breath, and start to concentrate on the battle. Entering the meteorite belt, Zian also has the meteorite as a cover. It was as exciting as returning to my own home. In the Star Wars simulation, what kind of situation has he not experienced? When fighting in Humans and Zergs, there are also meteorite belts nearby. The reason why he was able to kill enemies whose strength was several times greater than his own was not just because of his Star Wars strength. Using terrain is also one of his usual methods. The meteorite belt is his favorite place to go. First of all, the Brilliant is not that big, and it is more flexible in the meteorite belt. Secondly, relying on the meteorite to resist the high damage from the enemy and taking the opportunity to fight back is also Zian's forte. This meteorite belt. Although Zian has never been here. But, see how slippery he is, dodging left and right, using meteorites to defend, dodge, counterattack, and even counterattack. A set of combos made people dumbfounded, and his familiarity with fighting in the meteorite belt made people even wonder if he grew up in this meteorite belt. Even the pirates on the opposite side were a little at a loss. Why does it feel like this person is more familiar with the terrain here than they are? Know how to fight in the meteorite belt better than them. What the hell is this starship? The most outrageous thing is, another weird thing about this starship is that their detection radars can't detect each other. The locking radar can't even lock the opponent. If you want to hit the opponent, you can only aim it yourself, and you cannot aim it with the help of the locking radar. They are used to fighting with locked radar. Now suddenly aim with the naked eye. Don't mention that kind of uncomfortable energy. Starship after starship was killed by this weird starship. Moreover, the opponent even picked biological starships to fight, and didn't even look at mechanical starships. It's not. Now this unknown starship is chasing after a mid-level biological reconnaissance ship. Beat that mid-level biological reconnaissance ship so that its butt is smoking, and it runs away with its head in its arms. Once again, Lu Yun and the others were dumbfounded. A low-level reconnaissance ship chasing a mid-level reconnaissance ship and beating the crap out of the opponent? Really want to know. The brilliant. What the hell is it? This Zian. What the hell is it? Lu Yun expressed sadness. She felt that she was a majestic 6th-level intermediate biological starship. It shouldn't be here, it should be at the bottom of the ship. In the meteorite belt on the right. According to the exploration radar, there are a total of 6 starships in this direction. Among them are 2 biological reconnaissance ships and 4 mechanical reconnaissance ships. One of the low-level biological reconnaissance ships was blown up by the Brilliant before. The last remaining mid-level biological reconnaissance ship was chased and fled by the Brilliant, that is to say. Only 4 mechanical scout ships were left for them. Although the combat effectiveness of the mechanical reconnaissance ship is not much worse. But the point is, killing the mechanical scout ship has no evolution value. This is very uncomfortable. But what else can I do? Looting monsters? That cannot be specified. If you really want to rob the monsters, the Brilliant will blow them up and bring the matter to the Legal Affairs Department of the Earth Federation, and the Brilliant is also innocent. In this day and age, because of the untradeable and extremely precious evolutionary value and its extreme importance to biological captains, it is absolutely forbidden for others to snatch the enemy's biological starship. Not even if they are teammates. Once you snatch it, the candy will blow you up, and that is justified self-defense. It's that hardcore. What else can I do? I can only bitterly go to fight with the remaining mechanical scout ships. And after about 10 minutes, accompanied by the roar of the depths of the meteorite belt, after a while, the bright number reappeared in front of everyone. The Brilliant, forcibly blowing up that mid-level biological reconnaissance ship. Lu Yun didn't want to say anything about it anymore, and just wanted Zian to go to the middle or left to help, and the mechanical scout ship here was handed over to them. But suddenly, Wu Jing's frightened cry for help came from the cockpit of the crowd. Fuck. Frigate. And a biological frigate. There is also a biological frigate on the left side. Save me. Save me quickly, I'm being chased by a high-level biological reconnaissance ship and a low-level biological frigate. The Longkong has been destroyed. The Longkong has been destroyed. Confirm the death of the captain. Confirm the death of the captain. Come and save me. Wu Jing's horrified roar resounded in everyone's ears. Blue Sky number. It is one of the 6 biological captains hired outside this time. He followed Wu Jing and charged on the left. He was blown up, and he was blown up before he could even call for help. Moreover, the captain of the Blue Sky was confirmed dead. In fact, if the starship is blown up, the probability of the captain's survival is less than 10%, which is extremely low. But when they heard Wu Jing's cry for help, everyone's expressions froze. And a frigate? Black Crow. There are actually 2 biological frigates? Zhang Qingji's expression turned grim. You hold on. I will support you as soon as I kill this frigate. What you have to do now is run. Just procrastinate. Do everything possible to procrastinate. Right, what's going on over there? Is there any chance for you to support me? Zhang Qingji roared and asked. Lu Yun immediately replied loudly, we have a total of 6 starships here. 1 low-level and 1 mid-level biological reconnaissance ship, 3 mid-level and 1 low-level mechanical reconnaissance ship. 2 of the biological reconnaissance ships have been blown up by the Candy, and I can go there to support. The captains in the middle and left lanes all felt that they were hallucinating after hearing Lu Yun's words. Brilliant. Explode those 2 biological reconnaissance ships? Yes, I must have heard wrong. Zhang Qingji didn't think deeply at all and responded loudly, I agree to support. Go to support immediately. Yes. Lu Yun responded loudly and warned Captain Fatty and the mechanical reconnaissance ship. Let them not seek to kill the opponent's 4 mechanical reconnaissance ships, but only insist on not being blown up. After that, he immediately left the battlefield and hurried towards the left side with the Brilliance to provide support. Su Zian ran the fastest. It's not that I'm worried about Wu Jing's life or death, whether he dies or not has nothing to do with Su Zian. Su Zian just focused on the large amount of evolution value on the left. Let's not talk about the frigate yet. That advanced biological reconnaissance ship must be captured. After killing the advanced biological reconnaissance ship, you will gain 60 evolution points at the beginning. This is enough for Su Zian to do too many things. The best result is to kill the high-level biological reconnaissance ship by yourself, and then kill the frigate together with the Chanyun and Wu Jing. Find the right opportunity to strike the final blow. Gee, that's how you get rich overnight. This situation is not considered grabbing monsters. If you go to fight if others can beat you, and if others don't invite you, that's robbing monsters. When you can't beat them even if others don't invite you, you still strike the final blow. That's moral. Su Zian is a moral person. Along the way, he flashed left and right among the meteorites. When passing through the middle area, he could faintly see that the fighting there was very fierce. No stopping, just keep going. A few minutes later, with Wu Jing almost hysterical and even crying for help, he finally arrived here. Sure enough, we saw a frigate about 230 meters long chasing the Wu Jing. The Wu Jing was now in tatters, with explosion and penetrating wounds all over the hull. Fortunately, the Wu Jing had been dodging in the meteorite belt, otherwise it would have been gone by now. Thanks to the 230-meter-long frigate, it is very inconvenient to move in such dense meteorites, otherwise the Wu Jing would have been destroyed long ago. Su Zian didn't care about the frigate, let alone the life and death of the Wu Jing. The target is the advanced biological reconnaissance ship that is chasing the Federal Mechanical Reconnaissance ship. Say nothing. Just fire and shoot. With extremely precise accuracy and high penetration of penetrating warheads, even a high-level reconnaissance ship's shield was still breached. But this time, the hull was not penetrated again. But the high explosive shells from the secondary battery that followed also caused considerable damage to the hull. This caused the trajectory of this advanced biological reconnaissance ship to deviate. Suetsan? Wu Jing's shocked and stunned exclamation came from the communicator. He didn't expect that. The first one to save him turned out to be the brilliant number that he had always looked down upon. Yes. In his opinion, Su Zian's attack on the advanced biological reconnaissance ship was also to save him, although Su Zian had no intention of doing so. Especially when he saw the terrifying combat capability of the Brilliance, he was stunned. For a moment, I completely forgot my words. And at this time, Lu Yun's Changyun is finally here. As soon as she arrived, I saw Changwei playing. Then I saw the Brilliance attacking the advanced biological reconnaissance ship. Exploding shards of metal. Agitation was everywhere. Lu Yun was silent. Completely speechless. Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.